everybody heads up, chairs pushed in, feet down on the ground in front of you, ready to learn. So before we begin in our book, let's go back and review a place value chart. So, what is this first part of our place value chart called? What goes right here? Michaela? Ones what? The ones, not place. Who can help her out? Victoria? Every 3 digits in a number is part of one of these. Cullen?
Ones period.
Period. And in each period, we have what 3 places? The blank, blank, and blank. Carla?
The ones.
The ones. The tens. And the
Hundreds.
hundreds. Very good. What comes after the ones period? What comes after the ones period? Kingston? The thousands period. And inside the thousands period, we have what 3 places? Smith?
The ones, thousands
The
period.
1000s or the thousands period? I mean place, not period, place. Then the
10,000s place.
then the 10,000s place, and then the
100,000s place.
100,000s place. And what goes between the periods? What goes right between the periods? Waiting for somebody who hasn't answered yet. What goes right between the periods every single time, no matter how many periods we have? What always comes between them? Zari?
A line.
Not a line. If I was writing the whole number out, I would not put a line there. Kingston? A comma. Come on, guys. Remember, a period is every 3 digits. We have a new period. What goes every 3 digits in a number? Class?
A comma.
A comma. Okay, so if I write this number, we know to say it. We look at the first period, the larger period, and we say the number, 4. Once we get to a comma, we say the name of the period, thousands. Then we look at the next period, say the number, 857. When we get to the end of the ones period, do we say the name of the period, class?
No.
No. So we have 4,857. Which of these digits is in the greatest place? Zadie?
The 4.
The 4. What place is it in?
The thousands place.
How much is it worth?
4,000.
4,000. How much is this 8 worth? Victoria? It's not worth 100. It's in the hundredths place, but how much is it worth, Aaron? 800. How much is this 5 worth, Michaela? 50. And how much is this 7 worth? Zari?
7.
7. Because if we imagine 4,000 plus 800 plus 50 plus 7, we would get what number? Cullen?
4,857.
857. Very good. Now, what if we wanted to round this number, to the greatest place? How would we do that? Victoria, what would we do first?
We would
Well, I would circle the digit in the place to be rounded. In this case, the greatest place. So which digit am I circling it? Am I circling? The 4. And what place is it in? The thousands. Okay, that's step 1. What's step 2?
Underline the number beside it.
Not the number. That's this whole. That would mean I would have to underline this whole number. So I underline the digit beside it. To this direction or this direction? To the right. Okay? Now what?
No.
Which digit do we look at? The circle digit or the underline digit? The underline digit. Okay? Why are we looking at it? If it's
4 or less, let it rest.
so if it's 4 or less, we let what rest?
We let rest the digit.
Which digit?
The underline digit.
We let the underline digit stay the same?
The circle digit.
The circle digit. Let it rest means, remember, keep it the same. So if the underline digit is 4 or less, the circle digit stays the same. Well, what if it's not that?
5 or more, let it soar.
Which means what?
The circle digit is going up.
How many?
1.
1. So if it's 5 or more, we do what to the circle digit?
We let it soar.
Which means we do what?
We add 1.
We add 1. So 8 is 5 or more. So what is this? What happens to this 4?
It turns into 5.
We add 1 to the circle digit. Our comma stays in the same place. Okay, what's step 4?
We make every single digit 0.
Including this one?
No.
Every single digit
After the comma.
after the
5.
circled or underlined digit.
Circle.
Circle digit turns into 0. So how many digits do we have after the circle digit?
3.
So how many digits are we going to have after the 5? 3. So that means 4,857 rounded to the greatest place is 5,000. Now we did rounding a long time ago, but it's going to be really important in this lesson. So helper number 1, can you please sanitize, turn on the projector, sanitize? Everybody else, go ahead and open your textbook to page 203. Okay, so first, please start out by reading the sentence underneath the title. Aaron, loud and slow.
To estimate products, you can round factors to their greatest place.
So, what do you think we're going to be doing today based on that sentence and based on the title of this lesson that says round to estimate products? Zadie?
I think we're going to be rounding factors to the greatest place.
In order to do what? Find a what? An actual answer?
No.
No, what kind of answer? An estimate. An answer that is rounded. Have we done this before? Maybe just with something other than multiplication? When did we do this before, Zari?
In addition.
Addition and subtraction. Did we get the final answer and then round the final answer? No, we rounded the pieces of the problem. So we're going to be doing the same thing today. They're going to give us factors, and we're going to round them. So let's go ahead and start with example 1. Everybody, finger or pencil on example 1. Make sure your finger or pencil is on example 1. And read in your head while I read out loud. There are passenger trains in the world that can travel at 267 miles per hour. About how far could a train travel in 3 hours? Now let's go through this. Figure out our important information. Remember, if I write it on the board, what should you be doing?
Writing it.
Go ahead.
Writing it.
Writing it with you.
Writing it with me in your book. So first, let's find the question. Well, this is easy because it has a question mark. Sometimes it's a command though. Remember, a command tells you to do what? What is a command? Zadie?
To do something.
It's a sentence that tells you to do something. Sometimes our question is a command, which means we'll have a period, so we can't look for the question mark. But it's the sentence that's telling you to do something. In this case, we do have a question. We have about how far could a train travel in 3 hours. So the first thing I notice is the word about. If I have the word about in my question, am I finding an exact answer you can show me? No. Because it's asking me for an answer that is close, but not exactly the answer I would get, which means I am estimating. If I see about in my question, it means I am estimating. Now let's keep going. About how far could a train travel in 3 hours? Uh-oh, I don't have how many or how much or how many more or what's the difference. But I do have how far. Now you may not realize this, but far is our other unit because it's telling us, hey, there's a distance. Because how do you measure how far something is? By telling the distance. So far means we're looking for a distance. Now we're not going to see far. We're going to see something like feet or miles or inches or kilometers or something like that. So when we see far, that's our answer unit. But of course, our answer is not going to say number far. It's going to say number whatever tells us how far in our problem. Miles, inches, feet, yards, kilometers, whatever. So we have to look for, instead of looking for far, we have to look for a word that tells us a distance. Could a train travel in 3 hours? Well, we don't really know we don't see each, we don't see times as many, we don't see times more. Mason, please don't do that. Just put it in the opening, or if you put it like long ways on your desk, it'll stay. So let's reread to see if this 3 hours is important. It has a number, and I know usually numbers are important, but do you think they're always going to be important? Not always. So let's reread the problem to see if we know why we need that 3 hours. There are passenger trains in the world that can travel at 267 miles per hour. I see miles. I know that miles are used to measure how far. So that means my first piece of information is 267 miles. Then I see per hour. Per means the same thing as each. We just don't use it as often. So if I said 260 miles each hour, that means the same thing. It means in 1 hour, I can go 267 miles. So in this case, per is what tells us to do multiplication or division. Just like with each, whatever comes after per is our other unit. So we're going to underline it, and we're going to label it with OU for other unit. So who can tell me, why did I circle per? Why did I circle per? Michaela? Say it again. It means the same thing as each. So if you see per but you don't see each, what are you going to circle? What's telling you to do multiplication or division? Victoria?
You circle
Per. Oh, okay. About how far could a train travel in 3 hours? Well, we know hour is our other unit, so now we know, hey, 3 hours is important. Now we have to figure out, are we multiplying or dividing? Well, we know the train is traveling for 3 hours. It can go 267 miles each of those hours. So are we going to end up, and we know our answer unit is going to be miles because that measures how far. So are we going to end up with a number larger or smaller than 267? Think about it. Are we going to end up with a number that is larger or smaller than 267? If it can go 267 miles per hour, and there are 3 hours, are we breaking this 267 down into a smaller number or making it larger? Mason, I saw your hand up. You want to try? Larger. Very good. And Mason, which operation tells us we're going to end up with a larger number. Multiplication or division? Multiplication. So that means we take our two numbers, 3 hours and 267 miles, and we multiply them. So we are finding the estimated answer of 3 times 267. Now, do you know how to do 3 times 267 yet? But is that okay? Yes, because you know how to round, and you know how to multiply using basic facts and patterns. So all we're doing is we're going to round our larger number. Because can we round a number that only has one digit? Can we round it? No. Not really. Otherwise, we'd either round it to 0 or 10. 3 would round to 0, right? It'd be closer to 0 than 10 on a number line. So if we did 0 times 267, what would we get? Class?
0.
0. Do you think that's the answer they want us to get?
No.
That it travels about 0 miles in 3 hours? Definitely not. So we're going to be taking the larger number and rounding it. Instead of rounding the smaller number, we're going to take the larger number and we're going to round it to its greatest place value. So then we're just going to use basic facts and patterns to multiply, which is exactly what we did yesterday. So we need to round 267. Well, I know. Step 1, circle the digit in the place to be rounded. Step 2, underline the digit to the right. Step 3, 6 is 5 or more, which means we add 1 to the circled digit. So 2 becomes 3. Step 4, the digits after the circled digit become zeros. Step 5, anything before the circled digit stays the same. Do I have anything before the circled digit? No. So I know that 267 rounds to 300. Which means my estimated problem is 3 times 300. Well, now all I have to do is use basic facts and patterns. Which means, step 1, find the basic fact. 3 times 3. Step 2, solve the basic fact. 3 times 3 is what, class?
9.
9. Step 3, count the zeros. 1, 2. Step 4, move them to the end of my product. 1, 2. So now we've solved. But first, what place did we round 267 to, class?
100.
The hundreds. We're always going to round to the greatest place value in today's lesson. Otherwise, you end up with a problem like this. And do you know how to solve that yet? No, it's not a basic fact. So, we're always going to round to the greatest place value. So that means, well, we'll get back to that. This is important because this is something that you're going to be looking at today. You're going to have to do this as part of your problem. So listen closely. Read the sentence underneath to which place was 267 rounded in your head while I read it out loud. This sentence right here. Make sure you're reading it in your head while I read it out loud. Since 267, our original factor, was rounded up, which means when we estimated 267, it became 300. 300 is greater than 267. Do you agree? Is 300 greater than 267? Yes. So since 267 was rounded up, that means it's a larger number, the estimated product is greater than the actual product. If you have to round your number up, which means you end up with a number that is greater than your original number, a factor, I'm sorry. If you have to round up, which means your estimated factor is greater than your original factor, that means no matter what, your answer, your estimated answer, is greater than whatever the actual answer would be. You don't even have to know what the actual answer would be. All you need to know is if your estimated factor is greater than your actual factor, no matter what, the estimated answer is greater than the actual answer. Does everybody understand that? Because that's something you're also going to have to be doing in your independent practice and homework. Look at what happens when I do the actual multiplication. You do not have to write this. 267 times 3. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 6 is 18. Plus 2 is 20. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. There's my actual answer. Here's my estimated answer. My estimated answer is greater than my actual answer. But I didn't have to solve that to figure it out. Because if my estimated factor is greater than my actual factor, no matter what, my estimated answer will be greater than my actual answer. Everybody understand that? We're going to do some more practice with that. But for now, are you good with that statement? Okay. So the train can travel about how many miles, class?
900.
900 miles in how many hours, class?
3.
3 hours. Very good. Okay. Everybody with me so far? Good. Okay, let's move on. Helper number 1. Can you please sanitize, erase, sanitize? Sorry, ask your question again. Ask your question again.
Why is the arrow pointing down to the question?
Do you mean
to
this
the
one right
question?
here?
Yes.
That's because they're saying, okay, they're bringing this problem down. That's all it is.
Okay.
So it's saying 8 times the rounded number. That's the only reason it's there, because they want you to rewrite it. Which means, what do you think you have to do on your word problems today? Victoria? You have to write the actual equation without an answer because you don't know how to solve that, which is fine. But you have to write the actual equation and then the rounded equation. So how many equations are you going to have for word problems? Class?
2.
2.
2.
But how many answers will you have? Zadie?
1.
1, because you don't know how to do the actual multiplication yet. Please, this is a problem we have every year. Please do not let your parents try to teach you already, okay? Because they may be like, just don't worry, here, this is how to do it. But, inevitably, which means this always happens, somebody's parents don't fully explain it, and so a kid thinks they know exactly how to do it, but they don't because they didn't quite understand a step. And then it's really hard, once you think you have something right and you know how to do something, it's really hard to reteach you, okay? Like, I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, one kid's parents tried to teach them how to do double-digit multiplication before we were ready. And there's a step that happens every single time where you have to put a 0 in a certain place. But because it wasn't fully explained to him in the right timing, he remembered how to do it without that step with the extra 0. That has to happen. So that meant every single time his answers were wrong, and it took like 3 lessons to get him to be like, okay, to make him forget that wrong way and relearn the right way. So if your parents try to teach you early, just be like, I'm not ready yet. I have to know the basics so that the final paper and pencil algorithmic way is what it's called, makes sense so that I don't forget it, okay? They're going to want to teach you early, I promise you. I wish I could teach you early, but it'll work so much better if we just follow the process, okay? Everybody with me? Okay. Everybody, finger or pencil on example 2. Okay, read the problem in your head while I read it out loud. Estimate 8 times 2,496. Is this a real world problem? No. So do we have to go through and figure out important information? No, because the reason we go and figure out important information is to figure out our numbers and our operation. If it already tells us that, do we need to try to figure out our factors and our operation? No, they're already right there for us. But it says the word estimate, which means we are doing what, class? Estimating. We are not finding an actual answer. So, it says round 2,496 to the thousands place. I don't know why it says place value, whatever. Then multiply using basic facts and patterns. So again, we're taking our larger original factor, not our smaller one. In this chapter, are we ever going to round our smaller factor?
No.
No, we will not.
No.
Does it tell you that? So how did you know? What did you do to figure out? It didn't tell, the book didn't tell you. You made an, Zadie? Inference based on the fact. Have we done it yet? Have I told you we're not going to do it the whole chapter? But have I been kind of hinting at that? So you take what I told you and you think, what does that mean? Oh, I bet that means we're not going to round the smaller factor for this whole chapter. So we're taking our larger factor, 2,496, rounding it to the greatest place value, which is the thousands. So step 1, circle the digit in the place to be rounded. Step 2, underline the digit to the right. Step 3, the underlined digit is 4 or less, which means our circle digit stays the same. Oops, let's put it over here. Sorry. Step 4, every digit after the circle digit becomes a 0. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Step 5, anything before the circle digit stays the same. We have nothing before the circle digit, so we don't have to worry. Oh, unwritten, step 6, place your comma, but I already did it. So we know we're solving the estimated problem 8 times 2,000. Now we just use basic facts and patterns. So step 1, find the basic fact. 8 times 2 equals, class?
16.
16. Step 3, count the zeros. 1, 2, 3. Step 4, move the zeros to the end of the product. 1, 2, 3. Unwritten step 5, place the commas. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, 2, no comma. 8 times 2,496 is about what, class?
16,000.
16,000. Oh, now here's an important sentence. Here's a very important sentence. Please read it in your head while I read it out loud. Make sure you're paying close attention. Since 2,496 was rounded down, which means the estimated factor is less than our actual factor. Do you agree? Is 2,000 less than 2,496, class?
Yes.
Yes.
That means no matter what, the estimated product, the estimated answer, is less than the actual product. So again, if your estimated factor is less than the actual factor, the estimated answer is less than the actual product, no matter what. It's just like example 1. If the estimated factor is greater than the actual factor, the estimated answer is greater than the actual answer. If the estimated factor is less than the actual factor, the estimated answer is less than the actual answer. Everybody with me? Do you want to see how it is true? Do you want me to solve the actual problem so that you can see it's true? Well, I've got whatever. 2,496 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 9 is 72 plus 4, 76. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 7 is 39. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 is 19. Is that true? Is our estimated product less than our actual product?
Yes.
So are we
Yes.
so do you understand?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So 8 times 2,496 is about what, class?
16,000.
16,000. Okay, everybody feel good about it so far?
Yes.
Let's move on to example 3. Finger or pencil on example 3. Read in your head while I read out loud. Lacey's older brother is going to a 4-year college. The cost of his tuition is $8,562 each year. That's cheap. That's cheap. About how much will 4 years of college tuition cost? So first, underline the question. About how much will 4 years of college tuition cost? First, I see about, which tells me I am estimating. Now I see how much. Remember, I might see how much. If I'm talking about money, is there necessarily going to be a word that means money after how much? No, but I know if there's money in my problem, how much automatically means my unit is what? Carla.
How much dollars?
It automatically means money. So, how much means my answer unit will be dollars. Now I see, will 4 years of college tuition cost? Well, do I know 100% what my other unit is yet? Not yet. So do I know if 4 years is going to be important yet? Not quite yet. Let's go back and reread the problem to see if we can figure out if 4 years is the other number. Lacey's older brother is going to a 4-year college. Is that necessarily important yet? No, not really. It's just telling us what's happening in the problem. Bless you. The cost of his tuition is $8,562 each year. Well, first, I see my answer unit, so I know $8,562 is going to be important. Then I have the word each, which tells me I'm multiplying or dividing. I know you can't see it because it's teeny tiny, but you know I'm writing a multiplication or division symbol at the top, right? Above each, right? Okay. Because again, it's a pattern. It's what I've done every time. Now I see a word after each. I see the word year. The word that comes after each, or like in example 1, per, is my other unit. So I'm going to label it OU for other unit. Then I'm to my question, about how much will 4 years of college tuition cost? Well, now I see my other unit, year, with a number, so I know 4 years is important. Now I have to figure out, am I multiplying or dividing? Well, I know that college costs $8,562 every year. So if he's going for 4 years, is he going to end up spending more or less than $8,562? Zari.
More.
More. Which operation gives us an answer that is...
$8,062.
Okay. Good. More. We're going to end up with a number that is more, because if we're taking $8,562 for each year, and we're trying to figure out how much that's going to be in 4 years, that means we're repeating it. So which operation tells us we're going to do more? Zari, multiplication or division? Zari?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So we know we're taking $8,562 in 4 years and we're multiplying them. So our equation is 4 times $8,562. But remember, we're not solving it, the actual problem. We need to estimate. So we're going to estimate 4 times $8,562, then round to the greatest place value, then multiply. Are we going to round our smaller factor to the greatest place value? No. So that means we need to take $8,562 and round it to the greatest place value. What's the greatest place value in $8,562? Zadie,
8,000.
what's the greatest place?
6,000.
The thousands place. So we have to take 8,562, round it to the nearest thousand. Well, circle the digit in the place to be rounded. Underline the digit to the right. Our underlined digit is 5 or more, which means we add 1 to the circle digit. So 8 becomes 9. Step 4, all the digits after the circle digit become zeros. We have 1, 2, 3 digits after the circle digit. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3 digits after our 9. Step 5, any digits before the circle digit stay the same. We don't have any, so we don't have to worry about that. Unspoken step 6, place our commas. 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, no comma. And in the case of dollars, what should we put? Victoria? A dollar sign. So now we're solving 4 times $9,000. So we have to use basic facts and patterns. Well, first, step 1, pull out the basic fact. 4 times 9. 4 times 9 is what, class? Everybody should know.
36.
4 times 9 is what?
36.
36. Everybody should know that. Step 3, count the zeros. 1, 2, 3. Step 4, move those zeros to the end of the product. 1, 2, 3. Unwritten last step. Place your commas. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, 2, no comma. And then add the unit. Dollars. So now, let's fill in this sentence. Since 8,562 was rounded, which way? Up or down? Is our estimated factor more or less than our actual factor? Zari?
More.
More. So was it rounded up or down? Class? Was it rounded up or down? Up. So since 8,562 was rounded up, which means that 9,000 is greater than our actual factor, the estimated product, is it greater or is it less than the actual product? Class? Greater.
$6,000.
Sorry, listen to the question. I said, is our estimated product greater or less than our actual product would be? It's greater because we rounded our factor up, which means it's greater than our original factor. So tuition will cost about what, class?
$36,000.
$36,000. Okay, is everybody with me? Feel good about it? You ready for some guided practice and then to try it on your own? Okay, let's do the guided practice, and then after PE, you'll have time to do the independent practice. Okay, so the guided practice. Read the directions in your head while I read them out loud. Estimate. Round to the greatest place value. Circle whether the estimate is greater than or less than the actual product. So number 1, 9 times 870. Carla, we see our arrow shows which factor to round. So, Carla, $870 rounded to the nearest or to the greatest place value is what? You can just tell me the answer.
We need to round the 100.
So,
to
Carla,
nine-
just tell me 870, just tell me the answer. $870 rounded to the nearest to the greatest place value is what?
is $900.
900 what? Dollars. Very good. Now, we just have to do basic facts and patterns. 9 times $900, what's the basic fact, Carla?
9 times 9,
Which equals?
which equals 81.
How many zeros are at the end of our factors?
2.
So how many zeros go at the end of our product?
2.
We need to place our comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, no comma, and our dollar sign. So 9 times $900 is what, Carla?
9 times $900 equals $8,100.
Good. Now we need to figure out, is our estimated answer greater than or less than our actual answer? Well, let's look. Is our estimated factor greater than or less than our actual factor? So that means our estimated answer is
Our estimate is greater than.
good. If our estimated factor is greater than our actual factor, our estimated product is going to be greater than our actual product. Okay, number 2. 3,293 times 3. Kingston, we're rounding. The arrow tells us which one to round. What is 3,293 rounded to the greatest place value?
3,000.
3,000. Now we just need basic facts and patterns. What's the basic fact in 3,000 times 3?
3 times 9. 3 times 3.
3 times 3, which equals
9.
how many zeros are at the end of our factors?
3.
3. So how many will be at the end of our product?
3.
3. 1, 2, 3. Place our comma. 1, 2, 3, comma. 1, no comma. No dollar sign. Is our estimated answer greater than or less than our actual answer?
Less than.
Less than. Because our estimated factor is less than our actual factor. Yes, Kingston, quickly.
It's weird that how there's 3,000 times 3, and there's 3 zeros.
That is funny. Lots of 3s. Okay. Very good. Let's quickly look at the independent practice and the homework so you can see what to do. Numbers 3 through 8, you're doing the exact same thing as we did here. But remember, no matter where the arrow is, always round the larger factor, no matter where the arrow is. Here it has the the arrow underneath the one you round. But in your independent practice, it doesn't. It just has it under the problem. So no matter which number, which factor the arrow is under, always round the greater factor. Numbers 9 through 12, well, you're just going to have to you need to show the work. You need to show the estimated answer and then match it to, the estimated equation, and then match it to the estimated answer. Numbers 12 through 16 are word problems, so that means you need the actual problem without an answer, the estimated problem, and then the estimated answer with a unit. Zadie, do you have a question about that?
No.
Okay. So again, on the line, you need something extra because you need the actual equation on the line, you need the estimated equation on the line, the estimated answer on the line, and then the unit. Don't forget the unit, otherwise you lose points. Numbers 17 and 18 are the critical thinking. 17 is a critical thinking with numbers and words. 18 is critical thinking with words. Now look at the homework. Numbers 1 through 4 are just like the guided practice. Numbers 5 through 8 are the same as numbers 1 through 4. So you're doing the same thing all the way to 1 to 8, you're doing this. Numbers 9 through 11 are word problems. So you need actual equation estimated equation, estimated answer, and unit. Remember, if it says anything more than the word explain, period, that means you need some words. You need to explain your thinking in words. If it says explain, period, all you need to do is show your work. If it says explain blah, 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 that means you need some kind of words to explain your thinking. Number 12 is a multiple choice. Make sure if you need to show that you show an equation if an equation is needed. Okay, any questions about math? Quickly.
On the homework, there are no ones with explain period.
Well then, what does that mean?
You have to explain like with the.
With showing work and just answering the question. Yes. Quickly, Kingston.
So is that really that
Okay, well then it needs to wait. Okay,